So any dialogue that compromises our essence, we are going to battle it. Now, the issue, so I think there's something about post-traumatic slave syndrome, and there is work that's been done. I think it's important that this comes as part of our debate, and I hear the kind of concern or suspicion about the way that people who do studies and are academics tend to use information in a way that perpetuates the pathologization of us. And I hear the concern, but we definitely do need to deal with what the consequences of this 400-year relationship are. Now, in terms of what constitutes reparations, I think, and the war that we're facing, I think there could be ways of oversimplifying the war that we're facing. The war we're facing is 400 years that have built every single European system that we're relating to today. Everything that you see in this environment has come on the back of that trade. So what we're dealing with is a lot more sophisticated than that man over there has raided my space and now I've got to get back my teams. What he's done is for 400 years, they've redefined our perception of ourselves, which is what the issue of our minds is about. Reclaiming our sense of who we are. So fundamental to reparations is reclaiming our sense of ourselves.
So who can do that?
Only we can reclaim our sense of ourselves. Now the point that you're making about...
Comrade, this is not an exchange. I mean, you've asked a question. Please give the speaker the opportunity.
No, I know. I'm just asking him.
You've done that already. You have to give him a chance to respond. And then, if it's necessary, as chair, I might ask for a further question. But you have to give him a chance to respond. Otherwise, it's not a dialogue. We're just shouting at each other. Could we not do that, please?
Now in terms of my point, this oversimplification, there are, and your point that your enemy isn't going to resource you. The reality of our relationships is that the enemy has been resourcing us, not for our own interests, but to our detriment. One of the first things that a plantation owner would do with a child when they got to the age that there was a toddler and they can toddle around for themselves, they would invite the child, the first time that the child got a nice plate of food with nice vegetables, well cooked up, they would bring the child to their doorstep at a big white boy's house, and that big dirty stinking white boy, rapist, right, would give that child the food. That child had a psychological attachment. The first time he eats a good food is from that dirty white boy. But he ain't seen him as a dirty white boy. He's seen he's the person who gives me food. And from there on in, his psychological relationship is to that boy. Not to his father, because his father probably don't even know who his father is. Not to his mother, who was giving him some gruel, right, some waste gruel. It's to that the first food he got was from... So they've been giving us shit all the time. The reason why we're here is because they're giving us stuff. But is what they're giving us good? That's the issue. So if we're looking at it as a very simple thing, it ain't that simple. There's much about our relationship to Europeans that we need to unpack. And a part of it is having a clear understanding of the journey that we've taken. Central to the journey is taking away our understanding of ourselves. That we don't have anything unless it goes through a white boy. And we need to get to the point where we recognize that our value is intrinsic. Yeah. We are of intrinsic, our value is within us. Everything else is about our relationships. And we need to change our relationship to those plantocrats. Because every money that I've got, every time I get cash, is from them dirty slavers. Right now, today, every penny I get is from them dirty slavers. They're the ones who are talking to me nicely in the workplace. They're the ones who are treating, Paul, how are you doing? The same dirty thieves. And we need to get this clear. You know, when we was at the conference, one of the things that Hillary said, the chair of the CARICOM Commission said to us, he said, look, you know, we have to look at European history. There's true traditions with European history. You've got the liberals, and they'll talk to you nicely, and they'll be all nice with you and friendly. And then you've got the fascists, who they ain't saying nothing to you. They're just saying, nigger, get out of the way. We'll kill you if you do what we tell you to do. But the true traditions are one and the same. They're in the same place. They've got the same strategic relationship to us. And for me, the point that we have to get to is recognizing that this is about, one, our relationship to ourselves, the thefts of our essence. And if you look at in the Durban Declaration and Programme of Action, well, one of the things that it says in there, and what Pan-Africanists battled to get into that Durban Declaration, is that this crime against us is the biggest crime that's ever been committed against humanity. And the central to that crime was taking away our essence. And that's where the point about reclaiming our minds is. That our essence has been taken away. We're not living in our own cultural space at all. And we haven't lived in our own cultural space for 400 years. We ain't dealing with some little thing that happened last week, some little war between Millwall and Tottenham, or some little war between Germany and France. We're dealing with 400 years of a continent. Every resource that these people have has been organised in a way to take away our essence. And if we're going to organise around that, there's a lot of learning that we have to do. So I ain't got the answer. I'm not saying none of us have the whole answer. The answer lies in our capacity to communicate and start to work out what our objectives are. Until we get to the point of being able to communicate like this and identify our objectives. And you've got some of the answers. You've got critical answers. You're with the young. You know where the young mindset is. You understand where young people are. You know what kinds of things are driving them. You know when they're on their phones, what it is that they're on their phones dealing with. You've got part of the answer. It's all of us who have to engage in this agenda. There isn't anybody who are experts. We're all in it. And for me, the thing about, I think there's many people who oversimplify what reparations are about. And I think the academics play that game. Because what they'll do is they'll look at it within the context of economics, or they'll look at it in the context of psychology, or look at it in the context of sociology. No, this ain't none of those disciplines. This is about the entirety of the African experience and our ability to to reclaim our essence.
All right. What I want to do, because comrade at the back there, I was trying to make sure that how our time is looking.
I just came in because I was overwhelmed by the conversation.
With them demanding that their labour will not to be stolen without a reward, a payment back for that. So we have a task, we're standing on the shoulders of others, but we have a particular problem in the UK. And we can't pretend that there is nothing wrong, or we can just walk around other people, or we say that they're not of any value. So I do really want the time that has been generously given to us by the authors here, the comrades here, that we suggest concrete action that we can take. I can say to you, I'm prepared to continue for as long as I need to. I am not prepared to give up. Failure does not frighten me. However, I won't be here forever. There will be a time when I will no longer be here. Can I ask, on record, because I presume you're recording, comrade, that some of that be provided to us so we can circulate for others that are not here? Minka.
Yes, Chair, thank you very much. Lord of mercy. Yes, the issue of reparation. For me, one of the things I said before is that, you know, we should close the door on people. We should tap into whatever it is that our international bodies are actually pushing forward for us to do, and let's synchronize our action internationally. I also said crucially is that we should organise our own workshop, because it's difficult to galvanise people around an objective, so you get 10 people, 10 different interpretations of reparation. But I want to say something about this question that's been raised about us being at war. Because some of us like to come to meeting and talk rhetorically, not even rhetorically, come up with a lot of kind of passionate kind of outbursts. Well, I want to say this. I came in a struggle through my sister was a member of the Black Panther movement. I was younger than the two men that I see here. I was younger than most young men I see around in struggle. Now, I concluded, as a result of the teachings from my sister, that because we are subjected to a vicious imperialist capitalist system which is attacking us, that has its origin in the enslavement of Africa and continues on to today, that's why we give rise to the demand of reparation. I said I was going to join a revolutionary organization. That organization was a Black Unity and Freedom Party. So one, I recognized that there was a problem. The next thing I did, I wanted to do something about it. If we say that we reckon, oh, we're at war, what are we doing about that? Or otherwise, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not being personal now, if we all says that we're at war, and at the end of the day, we don't conclude that we need to be in a revolutionary organization to confront this, then I just think that we're a bunch of jokers. I really do. Right? Because it's so easy to talk. And we should know what to do. So for me, it's not just to say we've got a problem. And my sister put it out very clearly to me. We're people, and I just come from a Saturday school today because I work with young children. And one of the things that excites me about doing work with our young children is that we've got like 6-year-olds. And you call up a 6-year-old to do some work, and they says, no, we can't do it. And for encouragement and support, you soon see how quickly they fall into line. Why? They lack self-esteem and they lack confidence. But for the older people, you know what it is, as my sister would say, we're surrounded by a bunch of cowards. Right? Because if I speak to most people, I don't need to tell them that we're in a wretched state. I don't need to tell them that we've got this problem, that problem, and that problem. But when it comes down for them to do something, they don't want to do it. Why? They're fearful. They're frightened. They're scared to death rabbits. And so people want to excuse this now by saying, well, we need therapy. Well, I get concerned about this term therapy because when I hear about therapy, I want to hear about a therapist. And what I'm saying is that the best way to fight against what the system is putting down on us is for us to collectively get together and begin to do something about that. For me, that's your best therapy, fighting back. And for me, stop making excuses for ourselves. The point raised the issue about reparation. I put it out straight. I put it out straight at the beginning. That there's only for people coming about reparation. My view is very clear. Is that this system was built upon our enslavement, and anybody thinks that they're going to get some quick check, it's going to be a sellout of what really reparation is. Reparation ultimately could mean is to overturn this parasitical relationship which exists. We're not just talking about 400 years ago, we're talking about what's happening now. But we need to bring that understanding to our people, and that's why these workshops are important. So working with people, I'm in a relationship. My first commitment in life is not just to struggle, but to my children. Okay, I don't believe in just having children and you don't look after them. And I know within life that, you work hard. You're in relationships that don't work out, you work hard. And I'm not saying you shouldn't work with people, but there comes a point when you've got to say to somebody, you know what, we've been trying this thing out for a little while, and it ain't working. So best you go your way and I go mine. I'm not going to close the door on you, but at the end of the day, we've got to keep on pushing that work. And the important work for GAC, crucially, is for us to be carrying out our workshop with our understanding so we can galvanize a common understanding around reparation and at the same time working on that international level to see the limited work we can do to feed into that. Finally, on the question of this march, a text came through. I'm a GAC member. Anyway, I'm going to leave that aside. All right, yeah, okay. Right? And the people saying, there's a march going on. What is the members' views about supporting the march? I'm saying this, and we've got to really get political. People want to do workshop and they want to get political. Everything is political. don't waste my time telling me you're going to workshop and people are telling me they're not political. Everything is political. And at the end of the day, you're either upholding this blasted system or you're trying to tear it down. And if you ain't trying to tear